Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we have something very special for you. We are going to talk about the story of King David. Now, you might be thinking, come on, we all know the story of David and Goliath, right? Well, not exactly. Sure, we all know that part, but David's story is so much more than just defeating a giant. It's an incredible tale of bravery, faith, music, kingship, and yes, even romance. You know, the guy had quite the interesting life. So let's take a deeper dive into the story of David, the man after God's own heart. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? David was just a simple sheep herder, minding his own business, looking after his father's sheep. It was peaceful, quiet, and probably pretty boring too. But then one day everything changed. You see, God had a big plan for David, and he chose the prophet Samuel to find him. Now, Samuel was a bit confused. Why did God want him to go all the way out to Bethlehem to look for a sheep herder? I mean, come on, right? Well, when Samuel finally found David, he did something really amazing. He anointed David as the future king of Israel. Can you imagine? One minute you're a humble sheep herder, and the next minute you're told you're going to be king? Wow, talk about a surprise. But being anointed as king didn't mean David got the job right away. Oh no, not at all. He had some waiting to do. Let me tell you, it was not easy. You see, at the time, Israel was being led by King Saul, and he was not happy about the idea of losing his throne. In fact, he became so jealous of David that he tried to kill him. Yes, you heard that right. The king wanted to kill David, so David had to escape and hide in the wilderness for 13 long months. Now, during this time, David wasn't alone. People loved him, and they cheered when he played his harp and sang his beautiful songs. Guess what? His music was so good that King Saul would often ask for him to play for him. But the funny thing is, Saul would get so angry listening to David's harp that his pain would come back. Go figure. But let's talk about something really important here. Even though Saul wanted to kill David, he didn't succeed because David was a man of faith. David believed in God, and he knew that God had chosen him to be king. And guess what? God kept his promise. David became the second king of Israel after Saul. That's right. Sheep herder became the king. How awesome is that? But David's story doesn't end there, not by a long shot. As king, he had to deal with enemies both near and far, like the Philistines, the Moabites, and even his own son, Absalom, who tried to take the throne from him. But through it all, David remained strong and faithful. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, great. He was a good king, and he defeated the bad guys. Happy ending, right? Hold on to your hats, because things get even better. David wasn't just a warrior and a king. He was also a poet, a musician, and a man who loved God. He played the harp, composed beautiful psalms, and wrote songs that people still sing today. Do you remember that time when King Saul was feeling blue and asked David to play for him? Well, David picked up his harp and started playing. Saul felt so relaxed listening to those sweet tunes that his pain went away, at least for a while. In fact, David's music had a magical effect on people. It could cheer them up, comfort them when they were sad, and even help them relax when they were stressed out. And let's not forget about the giant Goliath. You know the story? David, the underdog, faced off against this massive warrior from Gath, Philistia. Goliath was a tough opponent, and he was so big that no one in King Saul's army dared to fight him. But along came David, the brave little shepherd. With just a sling and some stones, he took on the giant and won. It was an epic showdown, and it became one of the most famous stories in history. You know, the movie The Story of David, starring Powers Booth and Eric Roberts, depicts this story in an exciting way. You should check it out if you haven't already. David's victory over Goliath didn't just make him famous. It also showed everyone that it's not always the biggest or the strongest who win. Sometimes it's the brave and the clever who come out on top. Now, here's a question for you. What do you think was David's greatest strength? Was it his bravery, his faith, or his ability to forgive? Let us know in the comments below. Now let's talk about David and Jonathan. They were best friends, and their friendship was so strong that it became a legend. Jonathan was the son of King Saul, and he was one of the most respected warriors in Israel. But despite their different backgrounds, David and Jonathan became close friends. They shared their feelings with each other, and their bond was unbreakable. You know, sometimes people say that a friend is like a brother. Well, in David and Jonathan's case, They were more than just friends. Their friendship was truly special. But unfortunately, friendships can be complicated, especially when there's jealousy and betrayal involved. David's fame grew, and King Saul became more and more jealous. He saw David as a threat, and he tried to harm him. But Jonathan stood by his friend's side and protected him. He knew that David was the chosen one, and he was willing to sacrifice everything for him. Now, when David became king, he honored Jonathan's memory by saying, "Your love to me was wonderful, more wonderful than that of women." That's a beautiful quote, right? Shows how much their friendship meant to them both. So next time you think about friendship, remember David and Jonathan. Their story is a reminder that true friends stick together through thick and thin. They support each other's dreams and are always ready to help each other out. Now, let's talk about the woman who captured David's heart. Beautiful and elegant, she was the wife of the Hittite warrior Uriah, but when she caught David's eye, he did something he shouldn't have done. He took her as his wife. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, classic Hollywood romance, right? Not so fast. This story doesn't have a happy ending for everyone. After David and Bathsheba had a son, God punished him for his actions. Sadly, the baby died. But David learned a valuable lesson. He realized that his actions had consequences, not just for him, but for everyone around him. Now, let's talk about David's legacy. When he passed away, his son Solomon took over as king. And let me tell you, Solomon was wise beyond his years. He's known for building the first temple in Jerusalem. It became a place where people could connect with God. David's descendants continued to rule over Israel for many years, and his bloodline led to the birth of Jesus Christ. Yeah, you heard that right. Jesus was a descendant of King David. And that means that David played an important role in God's plan for humanity. And finally, let's talk about why David is called a man after God's own heart. He wasn't perfect, but he had a big heart, cared deeply for his people and for God. He loved God so much that he wrote psalms, songs of praise that people still use today. David knew that God was with him, and he trusted in God's plan for him. He was honest, humble, and always ready to learn from his mistakes. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember David, the man after God's own heart. He faced giants, enemies, and even his own inner demons, but he never lost sight of his faith. He taught us that even when life gets tough, we can overcome anything with God on our side. And there you have it, folks. The incredible story of David, the man who went from a humble sheep herder to the legendary king of Israel. If you enjoyed this adventure through his life, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tales. And if you'd like to continue exploring the amazing stories from the Bible, click on the video that appears on your screen right now. Till next time, stay curious and keep discovering.